Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Mike Armstrong podcast show. And this afternoon, I'm joined by Anil Sudkhar, who is an entrepreneur, a marketer, and a trainer in the area of solar power, based in India. And how are you doing today, Anil? You okay?
Yeah, thank you so much, Mike, for inviting me over here to your podcast. And I'm doing great over here in India. Thank you so much.
Brilliant, brilliant. And what part of India are you from? Because it's a big country, and I've got a big map of the world on my wall, and I put a red pin in when I have people on from different parts of the world, and I'm looking to fill up the whole map of the world. So I'd like to know where you're from and in which part of India, north, south, east, or west is it?
Okay, so I am from Aurangabad. This particular city is called as one of the historical city wherein you will find two World Heritages in 100-kilometer periphery, and this comes in eastern part of India.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you for that. I'll stick a pin in when we're finished, and you'll be added to my map of the world. And the first place I like to start when I'm chatting with entrepreneurs is I like to find out a little bit about the lockdown, how it's been for them in their country, and if they've done any particular sort of pivoting, changing during that time in their business. So how's it been for you?
So as far as lockdown is concerned, I think this is a pandemic situation for everyone, and this is the area wherein I feel that it's an opportunity. I take it in a different way, all put together. It's an opportunity to peep inside of us. It's an opportunity to like speak with others. It's an opportunity to develop our 2.0 version. So like there will be two category of people in this particular pandemic. The people will say that I was doing a great thing and I used to get a salary, or my business was running very good before pandemic, and like once this particular thing came in it, and it had heated like anything, and I like everything has gone on the toss right now. And then there will be a other category which will talk about in this pandemic I got lot many time to develop myself, to develop my team, and I have utilized this particular time and energy to develop myself and to develop my team. So I think I wanted to fall into second category, and I would request every listener or here to think in a different perspective.
Yes, definitely. I myself am in that strongly in that second category, and
Great to
I
know
look
that.
at any situation that happens in life, any change situation or transformational situation, as an opportunity to develop, to grow, to build, to make a difference. And so, yeah, some people see crisis, some people see opportunity, and I'm definitely in the second camp. So sounds like you are too. So well done for that. And the more
Yeah.
people in that camp, the more people can bring people over from the other camp.
Yeah, I think that that will make the impact. And whenever the financial crisis or be it any crisis, we have seen that many different breed grown of our own. So
Yeah.
humans have gone into different mode in any of the situation in that case.
Yeah, and I'm a big believer that when the going gets tough, the tough get going.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, brilliant. So obviously, you're into solar power and all of that, which obviously was big before this pandemic. Anyway, the cry for greener energy and greener power and all of that was strong because our planet has been suffering under the industrialization of the planet, if you like, for a long time. And so, this pandemic has come at a good time, because it stopped a lot of that heavy industry and heavy traveling and transportation and all of that. And obviously, solar power is a good, addition to that, trend and change, etc. So tell us a little bit about, what you do in that area of solar power, and how you're looking to grow what it is that you do.
So I firmly believe that there should be a sustainable development. So when I talk about sustainable development, it doesn't mean that we should not grow our industries or our and we should stop them for developing themselves. But on the other hand, this is the global crisis wherein we also need to take care of our Mother Earth. So there should be a balance. Okay, so it cannot be said that we should not do industrialization, and on the other hand, it should not be the case that we should only focus on the green and other things which is come as a roadblock or in the development. So there should be a balance, and I think this is the time wherein like technology and science can definitely help us. Yes, being into solar industry, it's a greener, and the industries, those who have put the solar power plant, they are taking the benefit of that. But on the top of that, I think there are many areas, many avenues wherein we can generate the energy and then you can utilize. So it will differ from country to country. I think every country's student or the research guy, they need to like get into that, and they need to understand like what is our energy requirement, because in due course the population is going to increase, and the more the population will get increased, the higher will be the demand of the energy. So this is going to a continuous process, and in this particular thing we also need to find out the other areas of the energy sources. So the more and more the energy mix will have a diverse energies from not only from coal and other conventional energy sources, but if you add in new sources of energy into that, I think the energy mix will be a good combination, and it will definitely help us to survive more.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. I think it's important. I think balance is important in all aspects of life. You have to balance the economy versus the planet. And so sometimes you've got to balance slightly tipped in one way or the other. And I think with the way the planet was going, COVID coming along and tilting the balance vastly to making us quickly a bit more greener was good. And I think sometimes we have to sacrifice a bit of our economy for the long-term benefit of the human race and the planet. And so, yes, there's an importance to having a balance. Sometimes the balance needs to be addressed, it's slightly more one way or the other, depending on the priority of those things. And ultimately, I think having a nice joined up approach of how do we, use less traditional power sources, and how do we develop more green sources, but how do we, take a sensible approach to transformation. You can't just stop one and jump to the other, but it's all about great minds and great leadership and stuff. People getting together, debating, deciding where the priorities lies, where the pivot and the balance needs to be pushed to one side or the other, and having a sensible approach to everything. Joined up thinking rather than just looking at everything from one perspective or the other.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
I completely buy your point, and this is the situation. Like when I say that we are living in global warming situation, and it's alarming. So it's not the case that only India or some part of the India is getting impacted because of that. Okay, so the whole world will get impacted. So there are certain things which doesn't have any boundaries. Okay, so as like Corona, it's a global crisis. There are certain crises which are globally, and we need to certainly look into them together. So it's not the case that only India or some part of the world is looking to this particular situation and they are trying to get out of this. It is not going to happen in that way. So like the more and more people, the more and more countries will collaborate and come together, I think that will make more sense.
Yes, definitely. I think that's why I think, potentially, I don't want to get into politics too much, if you like, but I don't mind sharing my views. But it's just, this is an entrepreneur chat rather than a political chat. But the more leaders we have in charge of the superpowers who are willing to collaborate together rather than distance themselves from the rest of the planet, the more we'll be able to find the solutions that we need for things like a global pandemic, but also, the global virus of, bad education and poor education and miseducation. Also, the virus of, racism and prejudice and all of that. The virus of industrial, taking advantage of the planet too much and not actually, putting cash over, other priorities. These are all pandemics, and the more we can collaborate together as a globe, the more we'll be able to solve these problems out to the benefit of everyone, because, globalization is here. It was here before the pandemic, but it's more here now because of the pandemic. The first thing I would say has probably ever really affected the entire globe at one time. So the globe is starting to work out how it works together better. I think we need to get rid of leaders who don't want to play with other leaders, and whatever politics people want to take out of that. That's just my view. I'm not saying somebody's right or wrong for the position. I'm just saying we need collaborators in leadership positions, and
Exactly.
whatever people want to take out of that, they take out of that. But for me, it's about people who want to play together, who understand that no country is an island. No man is an island. No person is an island, and we all are in it together. And the more we can work together to solve these problems, the better the world's going to be.
Yeah, very true with your thoughts. And I also firmly believe that we should come together, and only collaboration can help us. Only collaboration can, in the collaboration, only humans can go further and farther.
Yes, definitely so, definitely so. So obviously, we're of understanding now of your area of work and expertise, working in the solar area, solar panels, etc. Do obviously you work in the marketing and the training side of that. So tell us a little bit about that how that works, what you do, etc.
So if you talk about the solar industry is bifurcated and like into three categories, particularly. One is like B2B, wherein the high industries who are into high consumption energy. So that is B2B, we call it. Then the another one is B2G, like there would be government agencies or the institutions who require high amount of energy. And then the last one is B2C, that is business to customers, wherein the individuals for their bungalows, for their row houses, for their own consumption, they would be requiring the electricity. So my focus area is into B2B. I work with the industries, those who are having high energy requirement. So I have been working in this particular industry from last 7 years, and I think that with this pandemic situation will somehow it will get changed. Instead of putting their own money, industry may look for the other financial solutions like lease model or the OPEX. OPEX stands for operational expenses, wherein industry need not to put their own money, rather the investors or the developers, they put their own money into that, and then there will be an agreement between the user and the developer, or the person who is putting the money, and then this particular agreement will go for next 15 or 20 years. And then in that particular case, the power unit rate will be decided between both of them, and likewise it will work. So instead of paying to distribution agency of your country, you are paying to the distributed company who had given the solar power plant, or who has put the solar power plant on the rooftop or in the premises of that particular industry.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the area that you're working in, the B2B, and obviously you said you work in the marketing and the training area of that. So what does that look like? What does the marketing and the training aspect of what you do for that sector? What does that involve? Is it involving online events? Online education? What does that look like?
So as far as marketing is concerned, like we need to generate the leads, and then we need to drill down further. We need to understand the requirement. So this particular part is going on. And as far as training is concerned, I'm a trainer, but I am not a trainer for solar industry. I am a trainer for kids. Okay. And from last 2 years, I have been doing this particular thing for overall development of the kids.
Okay, so just teaching them about greener options and alternative options to the traditional methods of creating energy, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it also includes the other things of that. So it is not only includes the this particular things which have been said by you, but it's also includes the other aspect like creativity, why creativity is important, and how you can be more creative than responsibility, than gratitude, then winning habits and mindfulness. So some of the things which are very, very useful in this particular pandemic, we have also conducted some of the training programs which has helped many like kids and youths, we can say.
Yeah, so yeah, well, obviously creativity and innovation is key actually, and it's something that's come up quite a lot for me today already because I do a morning motivation every morning on my podcast, and this morning's motivation was about innovation, and then I used a picture that said, was it create to be great? Yeah, create and then to be and then GR8. Yeah, because I think ultimately to really make an impact on this planet and leave a legacy, it's all about creation and innovation. So, the fact that you're teaching that to the youngsters and, bringing along the next level of inventors and improvers and, efficiency creators and whatever, that's a massive area that I'm into is creation and creativity. And, I think, yeah, the more people training our kids on how to be creative and how to be innovative and why to be these things, the reason the planet needs them to start thinking creatively and innovatively and all that sort of thing. I think, not as far as I'm aware, that the education system doesn't always cover those areas. And so the more people who can, entrepreneurs and industry leaders, etc., that can teach the next generations this stuff, the more people will go into the areas we need them to go into to make those differences and make those changes so that we have that balanced approach to change and adaptation and improvement that everybody is relying on somebody to come along and create.
Yeah, I think this is an opportunity for us to interact with the young generation, and we also come to know their thoughts, what they think, and how they think. And based on that, I think that I have molded myself a lot. And I think this opportunity, I have been training these kids from the last 1.5 year in India particularly. And I am glad to say that we are also going to start a global blog for the overall development of the kids. So you'll we will be announcing it in a couple of days.
I was going to say, have you got an address lined up for that? So listeners, by the time they're listening, they can go and check it out.
Yeah, currently it's not on air, but those who are interested after like whenever it will go on air, I'll just share the link to you and you can send it to your listeners.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah, I can do that. And so you're teaching people on a blog. Are you teaching them online, and are you teaching them in schools as well, or where?
Yeah, so currently the format is like on the blog we will be this particular blog will be for parents, those who are having the kids, and they can read the blog and then they can implement certain tips which has been given on 5 aspects of the life, that is mental, intellectual, spiritual, financial, and physical. Because whenever I have discussed with multiple kids and the parents, I have seen that the parents they are mainly focusing only on one aspect of the kids, and that is their academics. Okay, and they will be doing all the things which are there for their like intellectual development, but these are the 4 areas which are not prioritized by many of the parents. And I think that in order to have a complete development of any of the kids, these are the areas wherein we need to look after.
Yes, definitely. And it's funny you said that as well, because, my podcast, and I've actually developed some information and some content myself to teach to young entrepreneurs. Because I believe young entrepreneurs, they don't have a lot of the life skills they need to actually become as good an entrepreneur as they can be. And so they've got to go and learn those skills through life. Some people don't bother learning through life and they don't get to the skills they want to. And other people do bother learning. They want to learn and they want to develop and grow, but it can take a long time to find that information. So I myself am teaching those kids as they get older, if you like, and as they start entering the business world and the entrepreneur world, and they decide, actually, I want to develop and I want to grow and I want to be able to create and innovate and all those things. So I actually teach them a lot of those skills myself through online, through the podcast and through my YouTube channel and all the rest of that. And what I'm teaching is basic skills of entrepreneurship, things like networking and sales and marketing and social media and mental attitude, mental strengths, and all sorts of things like that. And I actually have come up with 2 formulas during the lockdown period, which I'm going to educate, the older kids, if you like, as they turn into entrepreneurs. I want to educate them on my 5-step happiness formula, which is called SMART, and that is about sleep, meditation, or mindfulness. Looking after your ability to perform is the A, ability to perform, which covers exercise, nutrition, and hydration. And then doing lots of random acts of kindness, and also target setting, target achieving. So I call that smart happiness formula. And it's the way that smart people can get happier in their life every day by following a daily ritual, a daily routine of activities to make them happy. And then I've developed a 7-step success formula, which is called STREAMS, and it stands for systems, technology, relationships, efficiency, action, marketing, and sales, which I consider to be the 7 pillars of success. And if you can keep developing those 7 areas in your life, you will become successful. And if you put the 2 together, it's called Smart Streams, and it gives you longevity of success because you're looking after yourself and your happiness and your ability to perform, whilst chasing all of the success principles. So you'll get long-term success doing the Smart Streams formula, which I call an elite business performance formula. Yeah. And the little title for using the Smart Streams is Smart Streams will put you into full flow.
So I think whatever you said about the smart streams, it's fantastic. And I also could learn some of the details from that. And thanks so much for sharing those things. And I think that learning is a continuous process and every individual learns daily. And if you really wanted to understand the success formula of any of these successful entrepreneurs or any of the successful person, so go and check the daily routine of him. And I think the continuous learning is one of the biggest area of that particular person. Thank you so much for sharing those things.
Yeah, well, most top entrepreneurs read a book a week. Most top leaders, most successful, the top 3% of the planet, they read a book a week. And, I myself have read and listened to, because I do a lot of audio listening, but I've read and listened to probably somewhere in the region of 14, 15 books during the lockdown period. And, I've been intensely learning off some of the best people on the planet for the last 3-4 years in personal development. People like Grant Cardone, Brian Tracy, John DeMartini, Jarek Robbins, Tony Robbins, Sharon Lecter, Robert Kiyosaki, Kevin Green. Some of the best people on the planet, and I always say to people, I'm learning on the best people on the planet who are the best in the areas I want to be the best in, or I want to be up there with, If you want to be the best in at anything, look at the person who's there and study them, work up, what you can do to do more than them or do better than them or just do the same or whatever. But I'm always about trying to improve things. So you should look at what somebody's doing as a guide and as a roadmap, and then innovate and create about how you can actually take it up a level.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I just remember the lines of the co-founder of LinkedIn, and what he says that the fastest way to change yourself is to hang out with the people who are already the way you want it to be. Yes. Okay, and I think that in this particular pandemic, I tried to be in that way. As you rightly said that you read couple of books in this particular pandemic, and same is with me. And I think because of that only we could meet in this particular session.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I'm on a mission to become a global speaker because I'm disappointed that there's not really many UK speakers who are, global speakers. They all tend to be American. Yeah, obviously the size of American economy is much bigger. Plus, I think the percentage of people pursuing success and entrepreneurialism and whatever is greater in America as well. So therefore, the market's bigger, and the people, and also speakers, etc. Americans are more vocal. Compared to say the Brits and other parts of the country. So I'm on a mission myself to put some to be a Brit amongst the Americans and to make that impact. And whether I do it or not, I don't care really if I do it or not. What I care about is helping people. So, if I get to a global speaker, I'll help millions of people. If I don't, and I work my way up to whatever level I work to, I'll help hundreds of people or thousands of people or whatever the level may be. And so to me, I'm helping people. As long as I'm helping one person, then I'm making a difference. But you have to aim high in order to get high. So for me, I actually secretly want to be the top person on the planet. To me, there's no point in aiming anywhere different than that, which is why I learned from the top people on the planet. But I'm just happy helping people, and that's important as well for people to understand that it's good to aim for the top destination and to create and innovate to get there. But also, it's great to be happy with what you've achieved in life and to enjoy the journey and the process of getting there as well. It's not just the end goal; it's the whole process.
Exactly. And I think that the people, those who believe on the process, those are the like firm people, and they are they are having a lot of patience, and they only reach to the top wherever you want it to be. Because most of the time it happens, like a particularly youngster, I have seen that they really wanted to have that particular result, but they don't like the process. And like any person you take, I think the process is very, very important than actual success. And you
Yes,
should enjoy
definitely.
that process.
The process is more important than the end goal because the end goal often changes as you get close to it because you've carried on with the process, and so the goal changes. So ultimately, the end goal is not the important thing. The actual process, the doing what you want to be doing and headed in the right direction is the main thing. And you're going to end up at a different destination depending on how long you live. So you might live to 50, you might live to 60, you might live to 70, you might live to 100. That end destination is always going to be different depending on the longevity you have to complete the process and also the speed in which you get success from the process. And that can be down to your own factors, but it can also be down to external factors. So you're not always in control of every aspect of the process. You've just got to go with it and go with the flow and do as much as you can control and you can do. And whenever you end up with, it's not a test. You're not going to pass and fail because you got to somewhere or you didn't get to somewhere. It's a life, and it's there to be lived and it's there to be enjoyed.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And most of the time, the common questions from kids or common questions from many of the students comes to me is that like how much time it will take us to reach to some destination. And my answer for everyone is that I don't know, like from where you have started actually.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so,
Okay.
and also you don't know what wrong turns are going to happen through their life. You know what I mean? It's everyone's
Exactly.
journey is completely different. So people say to me like, how can I sell and market my products, my services, to a point where I can make millions in X, Y, Z time and that. And I'm like, well, every business is different. Markets change, the world change, you change, everything changes. It's impossible to tell people exactly how long things take. All it's important to tell people is that anything good in life tends to take time. Anything worth having takes time. But if you enjoy the process and the journey to getting whatever it is you're trying to get, then you'll have a great time anyway. And whether the end point isn't the be all and end all, it's not, the end point is not an end point. It's just a vision you have for now until you get closer.
Yeah, very true, very true. And I completely follow the same process. And I think that that's one of the reasons that even though whatever the failures I have, I don't call them failure. I call them a learning and not to do list. So
Yes.
I should not repeat those things in the future.
Yeah, one of my favorite sayings is, there's no such thing as failure, just lessons, except when you didn't get the lesson and you failed at the same thing twice. Yeah. So that is when failure is failure, because you failed to learn the lesson. But until you've had the opportunity to learn the lesson, then no failure is a failure. It's just something that happened that you were able to learn from and move on from.
Exactly, and that's a very, very important thing. And I think as we grow to grow in our life, we forgot that the failure is a part of the success. And if
Yeah.
a person is not ready to get fail, I think he'll not be a successful person.
Now, when we were a baby, we all failed to walk until we walked.
Yeah, exactly.
We had to just learn how to, get up on our feet and stop falling over because it kept bashing our heads or hurting our bums or whatever. So, we learn quickly when there's a bit of pain involved.
Yeah, exactly. And the
Yeah,
more time we get fail down, the more we'll quickly learn the things.
yeah, exactly. So that's why it's a lot of entrepreneurs say fail quick and fail fast and fail often.
Yeah, I have heard this particular things, and I think that in some of the cases, particularly in our country, people are not accepting the failures as is it is being accepted in some of the parts of the world. But I think through this podcast, I would like to say that like in whatever the part of the world you are, if you are getting fail and people are laughing at you, then it's a good news that you have learned certain things and implement those things at least in your life, and you should move on.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you there as well. So yeah, if obviously you ever come across any students who are interested in the sort of content that you're teaching and they want to know more, feel free to send them to my podcast, and I'll happily have them on board. And obviously we met networking at an online speed networking event in America that um, that has a lot of international, people from all over the planet on, etc. So how did you used to be a business networker before the lockdown, or have you gravitated towards that since the lockdown? Talk to me a little bit about your networking experiences.
So I have been networking physically prior to lockdown, and mostly it was there in India, and very few times, like I flew to Dubai in the month of February, and I think that there was a network is very, very important and integral part of the success. But in this lockdown, what it had done, like it has opened the door of everyone, and then the world is coming closer and closer. Okay, so there are no boundaries there. We need not to travel to any of the countries. So I can say right now that I have a person from Albania to Zimbabwe. So from A to Z, I have a person connected in different countries, and I think this is the one of the biggest achievement in this pandemic, I say.
Yeah, definitely. Like you say, I'm putting red pins in the map of the world, and I can't wait till one day I can't get any more pins in. You know what I mean? It's full. But yeah, I myself I used to network twice a week in the real world. I'm now at networking 6 to 8 times a week in the online world, 2 hours a time. Actually, this week, for some reason, it's all sort of built in because I joined a new speed networking last week, which was my first time, but that's on again Thursday evening, tomorrow evening. And there's also another one I joined in South Africa that again has global people, and that's on. Actually, they've shifted to America this Friday as well. So I've got two more on top of my normal 6 to 8, and it happens to be an 8 week, not a 6 week. So I'm actually going to be doing 10 2 hour events this week, starting with 3 today, and I've done one already today. I've done two so far this week, one Monday morning, one Wednesday morning, but I've got a 4 till 6 and an 8 till 10 UK time today. And then I've got, I think, two tomorrow and four Friday, I think. So yeah, there's never a better time to go networking because it's all online. It doesn't cost you anything, and you can speak to people all around the world. Which for me, who wants to become a global podcaster and a global speaker, that's perfect.
Yeah, that's very interesting, and I personally believe that your network is your net worth. And
Yes.
the more you have people in your network, and as I said that from like Albania to Zimbabwe, I have a network, and the same would be for you. The more people will be there in your network, I think it will fetch directly or indirectly revenue to you, and
Yes,
I
definitely.
firmly believe on that.
Yeah, definitely. And I love to help people. So, when I connect with people, I stay connected with them. I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn and all that. And when they share content, I'll reshare their content to my audience because I believe in collaboration and helping other people to grow. And, I'm building up an audience, not for me, but for the benefit of my clients, my partners, my friends, my associates, etc. Because I believe in collecting people and I want to be connected to and have relationships with as many entrepreneurs and as many people really on the planet. I want to have added value to their life in some way. And whether that gives me value back or not, I don't really care. I get value by the sheer fact of helping people. So if ever you check out my podcast or my YouTube and you see people on there you think you should be doing business with or you want to be connected to, I do a lot of three-way connections all the time on LinkedIn, on Messenger, on WhatsApp. I'm connecting people all the time, and as I get to know more and more people, I I sometimes think, oh, I've just met this person. They're in the green sector or the energy sector or whatever of you know um, the Middle East or somewhere. They should be speaking to Anil. And that's how my brain sort of works. The more I can get to connect with people, understand them, and they stay in my mind, they become one of the many people in my mind that I'm thinking about when I'm meeting new people and thinking, who does this person that I know need to be doing business with? So yeah, so stay connected and keep up to date with what I'm doing and who my contacts are and all of that. And I'll do the same with you. And as and when anyone pops up that we think each other should be doing business with, or someone should be on my podcast because they've got a great story to tell, and that's pretty much any entrepreneur really, because they all got good stories to tell. And if there's anyone I know that you should be speaking to, and happily tag me in on social media, and I'll share your content, and you do the same with me, like and comment on each other's posts on LinkedIn and all that sort of stuff. And we're just building a global community of entrepreneurs and networkers who are there to help each other.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mike, for this particular opportunity. And I think that like the kind of nature you have to help people to contribute in their life, to add value in their life, I think this particular thing is very, very required. And I think this pandemic has literally taught us, each and every individual, that the importance of helping each other. So
Yes.
no matter where you are, no matter what you are doing, but in any given situation, if you want to help or contribute to anybody's life, I think that is the immense help in this particular pandemic, and
That
you
is
are
that is
doing
why
that.
random acts of kindness is part of my SMART formula, because random acts of kindness helps three people really. It helps the person who's giving the kindness, it helps the person who's receiving the kindness, and it helps anyone who witnesses the kindness. Yeah, and the more people that do kindness to each other, the more oxytocin is spread around the world, and the more happier everyone is, and the world's a much better place when everyone's happy.
Yeah, and as I said that we are going to launch our blog, and the most important goal of us in that blog is that we need to increase the happiness index of the world. And I think that if we start teaching kids, start teaching the youngsters, the automatically the global index of happiness should get increased. And I think that at that time you will remember that yes, in one of our podcasts we have discussed on this particular aspect to
Yeah,
increase
well,
the happiness index.
yeah, and I'm happy to provide any of my content to your blog and to your audience if you want me to. I've got content, video, audio, and written about my happiness formula, which I'm happy to share. Royalty free if you like, because I want to just share the message and help as many people as possible. So I'm happily you can search on Google for hashtag happiness formula or hashtag smart happiness formula, and you'll find all my content to do with my happiness formula. And so you can borrow it and use it as you wish. And if you want me to send you anything in particular myself, I'll happily send you anything. But I've got lots of content on my podcast and on my YouTube channel as well. And so if your mission is to spread happiness, I can pretty much guarantee anyone following my daily ritual of SMART, yeah, will be much happier than they were prior to following the formula.
Yeah, that definitely I'll go and search about it, and definitely we will try and use it in the blog and wherever we could for the betterment of the society.
Yes, brilliant. Okay, and how do people get in touch with you if they want to do business with you from India or from around the world?
So I think that they can connect me on LinkedIn, or they can just send a mail to me. I think based on that, you can do it. So do you want me to tell my email address?
Yeah, web address, email address, and anything you got to push, fire away.
Okay, so my email address is Anil Sudkhar. It's SURADKAR @gmail.com. And I think you should send this link in the podcast below so that people can connect, like wherever they feel that they can have or wanted to contribute in energy, green energy particularly, they can connect me. Or if they feel that there should be something which is related with the kids overall development, again they can connect me for that.
Okay, brilliant. All right then. Well, yeah, I'd just like to say thank you very much for coming on my podcast and for sharing some information about what you do and all the other things that you're involved in, with my audience. So yeah, thank you very much, and I wish you the very best in everything that you do.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mike, and I really appreciate and acknowledge your efforts in order to make the people happy, to promote themselves, to promote their businesses on your podcast and whatever the community you have. I really acknowledge and enjoy this particular conversation. Keep in touch, and thank you so much for this.
No problem. I will keep in touch, and I look forward to see what you're doing next. So nothing else left for me to say other than have a great day. I know I will, and thanks very much for listening.